know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that.
Good afternoon, and we are live from Arlington, Texas. It's about 100 degrees, and yes, it is so hot outside, but it's absolutely beautiful as we look over Six Flags of Texas and also the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. And I hope that everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday. Welcome to Charity Talk with Aaliyah Henry, and I am excited that you've tuned in today. And I've got some special guests in the studio. We have Cara Mendelsohn. She is the Director of Community Engagement at VNA Texas. And we also have the lovely Katherine Krause, the CEO of VNA Texas. Good afternoon, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm really excited to have you guys here. So Cara and I were at the Volley Now event back in, I want to say it was June. Was it June?
I think it was June.
It was June. So we were kind of hanging out there. My son was giving her, my son was playing with her all afternoon, so it was pretty cool. But
we did have a very serious game of backgammon.
Hey, you know, it's all good. It's all good. He's competitive, too, and I saw you have a competitive spirit as well. So I am excited to be able to talk to Katherine and Cara and talk a little bit more about VNA Texas. But first, I want to get to know Katherine a little bit. This is our first time meeting, so it's always exciting to interview someone you don't know. Sometimes it makes it difficult because you're like, oh, what do I say? You know, but of course, you know me, I'd say ask anything, so it's no big deal. So bear with me. So Katherine, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got to VNA Texas, and any personal hobbies or anything that you love doing here in Texas.
Thanks for asking. Well, my background is about 30 years in healthcare, and I think that came from having a mother who was a nurse and a father who was in the military, and so there were service careers. And so when I went into this career of healthcare, I've done many things over the years, but halfway through my career, which was about 30 years ago, I was volunteering so much for different agencies that I decided to actually work for nonprofits. And so I came to work for VNA Texas probably about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And I've been there ever since. And what drew me to VNA is it used to be called Visiting Nurse Association. It was started in 1934, and it served the community for many years. And what we do is hospice, private care, and Meals on Wheels. So the core of it is serving people. People serving people. We serve people through nursing staff and also volunteers delivering Meals on Wheels. So that whole thing just drew me to the association. So I've been working there. So I'm a working mom. I have two 10-year-old daughters that are getting more complicated as the days go by. So,
welcome to the 3rd and 4th grade, right?
Yes, fourth grade.
Okay. So.
Yes, I know you have a 3rd grader. So, yes, so that, I mean, in terms of hobbies, I could list a long list of the ones before children, BC, you know, but I try and run most mornings, and that's the only hobby I have besides running after my kids or serving the public through Meals on Wheels and hospice care and private care through VNA.
So are you a marathon runner? Or?
Well, here's the deal on that. Thanks for asking. I ran a half a marathon, and that's when I decided I had no interest in running a marathon. I do 10Ks, but, you know, after doing a half marathon, my aspirations floated away.
Okay.
I died. Yes. I'm a sprinter. I sprinted on track in high school, and so I'm a sprint lady, you know.
Okay. That's very interesting. So I ran my first 5K this spring at the Too Cold to Hold in Dallas, and that was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to doing another one.
Good.
I don't think I'll be doing any marathons anytime soon, but I enjoyed it. So, and it was one of those things I hadn't done. I've always walked them, and So it was pretty exciting to actually run one. So it was fun.
It's a big accomplishment. You have to be very disciplined to just get the training in, so it's a big deal.
Yeah. And of course, it makes you feel better, that kind of stuff.
It gives you energy to do all the things we do.
Yes. So tell me, what has influenced you as a leader, or who has influenced you as a leader to help you get to where you are today?
When I was in grade school and high school, again, I mentioned my parents being good role models, great role models, but I always, and I encourage that for any mom teaching her kids as well, that reading biographies about successful women, whether it's Madame Curie or people that have lived their lives in service. I was just drawn to biographies about people, Albert Schweitzer, just many people, Einstein. And so you think of people that have devoted their lives to improving the world we live in. And I know it sounds trite, but it's really, I think, why we're all born. We better have a purpose. And if you're not doing something when you wake up, doing something for humanity, to me, I don't mean to offend anyone, but you're taking and not giving. And when you leave this world, and we deal with a lot of death and dying in the hospice, you want to look back and say, what do you want on your tombstone? What do you want to say that you've given to make this society better?
Yeah, that's great. That's good. Talk a little bit about, you've been a leader and obviously a pillar in this community for a long time. What do you think are some key characteristics of leadership? And especially, I'm always excited to meet other women leaders. And talk a little bit about how you feel about that.
I think leadership is about it is about creating a clear vision and direction, but then setting expectations for those that can carry out the vision. You have to be able to espouse the vision to the people that are actually going to make it happen. I mean, I go out and deliver Meals on Wheels. I visit hospice patients, but my real role is to oversee people that are having true impact and helping create the vision about what's going on in the community through stories of people. You're talking about the heat outside. Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about it's beautiful outside, the first thing I thought about was 100-degree weather outside. A lot of our seniors will not turn on their air conditioner if they even have it because of the poverty that they're living in for Meals on Wheels. And so that's what I think about as a leader. How do I translate their stories for people that are invisible in the home because they don't get out of the home anymore? By nature of what we do, you have to be homebound to receive our services. And so I try and be the voice, and that is what you should do as a leader, is be the voice of those who don't have a voice, and then working with others to help meet that need in the community.
Good. Well, talk a little bit about the mission and the core programs at VNA Texas.
Sure. Our mission at VNA is to help people age with dignity, and most of the time that's in their home. And we do that through 3 services, and that is Meals on Wheels. We're the largest single-site provider of Meals on Wheels in the country, and we serve almost 5,000 homebound seniors a day through volunteers and staff. And then we also do that through hospice care, which is end-of-life care. And hospice is not a place; it's a philosophy of care to help you have a quality life towards the end of your life. And then we have private care, which is an example if you have a parent that needs extra assistance in the home, whether it's transportation or whether it's bathing, and you're full-time working and you need help for your parent to be able to stay independent in their home, then you would hire us as private care to go in and send aides in to help with those services. So those are the 3 core services.
you talked a little bit about the families that are receiving. No, I want to clarify that. Inbound seniors who are receiving
Homebound.
sorry.
That's okay.
Homebound seniors who are receiving meals a day, 5,000 meals. That's huge.
It's actually about 5,000 people, and it's over 5,000 meals because we serve about 1.3 million meals a year, and a lot of times a high-need client will receive not only a hot meal for lunch, but they will receive, which is cooked fresh every morning in our kitchen, they will receive a bag for breakfast the next morning. So they really have limited capability to stand up and cook or actually have access to getting out to get groceries.
So back in 2014, my son and I had an opportunity to volunteer with We Volunteer.
Oh, that's awesome. We love them.
Yes.
We love them.
And it was very interesting because I was kind of wondering if TJ would really understand what he was doing as we were doing it. And we've had him doing things all along. And it was a really great experience for him. But for me, I've always known about the Meals on Wheels program. I did not realize how much is involved in terms of when we had to, we come out to VNA, then we pick up everything. We all were on a bus. There were about 20 moms with this project. And we had our addresses, and we were going up and down elevators in this one apartment community and doing all of that. And I will tell you, it was a lot that went to it. And I noticed there was, like I said, 20 moms. Maybe, I think we had about 15 kids possibly. And we just hit that one area. And I thought, oh my goodness,
Right.
if you've got 50 more people assigned out there throughout the day, this is really huge. So to hear you talk about serving 5,000 individuals a day is really kind of puts that light on there for me. But we had a really good experience. The one thing that he mentioned to my husband was that, guess what we did today? And we fed, he said, he said seniors, I think he called them seniors. And he said, we gave them lunch and we gave them dinner. And
But you know what else you gave them? You gave them a little bit of love. You
Yeah.
gave them a little bit of social contact, and you gave them some joy, and that's the human existence. But the two things that you mentioned, it's a daily miracle every day with how complicated it is on the backside. But it's like, for you, do you feel like it was very easy for you? Because we try and make it very easy, a turnkey operation. We want to make it easy for our volunteers because they're our lifeblood.
the process was so easy. I was just blown away with how much it takes to put it all together. Because again, I mean, we were so excited to be there because we just thought we were going to, we're going to help out. But when you see the amount of time, the amount of people, the kitchen, everything that goes into putting it all together to we can get it in our coolers and get it moving was just amazing. So kudos to your team, number one, for making the process just fun, but also making it an opportunity for us to have younger kids involved, because as a lot of people do know, a lot of youth are not able to participate in some of the direct contact, and that was just a fun project.
I love that
truly
you
amazed.
and your son got to see one of our clients, and of course they don't get to see children very often, so they're always excited when they do. I've been at VNA 7-8 months, and I will say what Katherine said about the daily miracle. I know as a nonprofit professional, you get that when you're delivering, I think to homes, it's like 4,600 homes that we actually go to. So like every day is a giant volunteer project because about half of those deliveries are done by our volunteers. So we're one of the, unique agencies in town because we can accommodate huge numbers of volunteers. So companies that come in and do a day of caring, as well as just a one family, you loved it when you did it with We Volunteers and you want to come back. So whether it's a single person, a company, or a group, every one of those we need. Meals on Wheels America just launched a whole volunteer recruiting campaign called, in our case, it's called Dallas Let's Do Lunch. They're doing America Let's Do Lunch. And it's really to help engage more people so that they can see that the seniors are very interesting, engaging people, and that they will have a meaningful experience doing the deliveries. So we need every one of them. But you're right, the back operation is so cool. I mean, it's like almost robotic with the packing of the food, and there's the computer systems to figure out the routes that are the most efficient, which I always think I'm the most efficient, but no, it's actually the route that they print out. So it's an incredible operation.
Yeah, I would encourage any of our listeners to take a tour the next time you have an opportunity. And of course, we'll be talking throughout the hour today and be able to give you that information. But again, it was just a wonderful opportunity. I was amazed at what all went into it, but just excited to be a part of it. If you guys are listening now and you want to Google it, it's volunteer@vnatexas.org. You can email and send your information that you'd like to get your group involved or your church, or possibly get a couple of families together and do it as a family give back day. And again, I've been volunteering since I was about 3 years old. And so it's always something that's inbred in me.
That's a key point, because what we've tried to do is really develop an opportunity for parents to take their kids out. It's a teaching experience of and giving back, but also I'm sure when I take my kids, they would never see how the rest of the community is experiencing hunger and when they're fed 3 meals a day, so it's very eye-opening for them to do that as well.
Well, I definitely want to encourage everyone that's listening to just get involved. But I know we talked a little bit about the volunteer process, but I also understand that there is an upcoming volunteer training. Can you talk a little bit about that, the time and the date, how they need to get signed up?
Sure. We have a volunteer training coming up for ongoing volunteers, and I believe Melanie Cromit is the volunteer supervisor. That, again, if you email the volunteer@vnatexas.org, she will give you a list of dates that you can come in. We've got one coming up this Thursday, but then we've got one on the 18th as well, I believe. But what they do is you come in and you learn all about Meals on Wheels. It's at 10:30 in the morning. Learn all about how to deliver and what to deliver. And then at the end of it, you look at, and you get a tour, and you look at the routes that are potentially open in your area. Because here's the deal. We have a commercial kitchen that's located over by Southwest Airlines in Dallas, but we have 22 drop sites around Dallas County.
Oh.
So what happens is we match you up with a route near your home or your business, depending on how you're going to approach this, and then you'll take that on once a month or whatever you can do. Now, if you want to deliver just one time a year, then we have some other opportunities that you could do that. We also have a pet food delivery on the weekend for pets. We have a pet program for Meals on Wheels folks that have pets that get, instead of feeding them their food, which they were doing, we started a pet food program, which feeds the pets food. So you could do that on Saturdays, because you deliver Meals on Wheels Monday through Friday. But if you want a weekend experience, we do deliver pet food probably about once a month.
That's awesome. We are going to take a quick song break, and when we come back, we will continue our conversation with Cara and Katherine. And again, they are from V&A, Texas. And you've been listening to Charity Talk with Aaliyah Henry. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. This love is too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, take now. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. This love is too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. This love is too high. Bring me down, can't nothing bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
And we're back, and you're listening to Charity Talk with Aaliyah Henry. And I am in the studio today with Katherine Krause, CEO of V&A Texas, and Cara Mendelsohn, Director of Community Engagement, as well with V&A Texas. And we were really talking a little bit about the programs that are here in Dallas, and obviously volunteer opportunities, and volunteer opportunities for Meals on Wheels. But I wanted to talk a little bit about hospice and to give our give you listeners just some information on hospice, as I kind of think about as well sometimes. Katherine, can you give us just a good general definition of hospice?
I will. Hospice has to be ordered by a physician. Any age can receive hospice. And what hospice is when you have a terminal diagnosis and you have decided that you do not want curative treatment anymore, and that means you know you're not going to get better. You don't want to continue your chemo drugs. You know that the twilight years are upon you, and you have 4 to 6 months left to live. So what hospice does is a team of nurses, spiritual folks such as a chaplain, physician, will come in as a team into your home and ensure you're comfortable and talk with your family as well through the process of what you're about to experience. And it really is a time of comfort. It's a time when we are working to improve the quality of your life. It's not about death per se. It's about improving the final months of your life. Do you have your goals in order in terms of the things you want to pass on? We work with you not only for pain control, but it's a support system for you as well. And most insurance pays for a hospice, and many folks that are over 65 are receiving hospice at the end of their lives, and Medicare pays for that. We are a Medicare certified agency as well. But for those, and again, if you're listening now, you're saying, well, that's a long time away, but this is just information to help you when it's time, when you need that extra support for the transition.
It's surprising to me when I hear the chaplains talk about people who have guilt because they've had relationships in their life that have ended, or they're estranged, and they're able to bring them back together, and how at peace people can be.
Okay.
Things that are unfinished, and they help them get them in order so that they can have that kind of peace, not just physically not be in pain, which the nursing and doctor staff, they all work with that side. We also have a social worker that's part of that hospice care team, and will come in and help make sure that all of the arrangements, all the resources that are available are known. So it's remarkable to see what happens when people come together. My own mother actually was served by VNA Hospice, and it's a blessing when a person decides that I can't do this anymore. I know my time is near. And it's not just a comfort to that patient, but also to the family. And, most people don't, like, if you think of your own life, like, I don't want to die in a hospital. I mean, that's not how I envision it.
7 out of 10 people want to pass away in the home. And in reality, 7 out of 10 people pass away in the hospial.
Wow.
And if you know me, it's probably going to be a car accident.
Well, we will hope that does not happen, Cara.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Tell me about your driving.
It's not good.
Did y'all ride together?
No.
Thank God.
But definitely, I thank you for explaining that and talking about that, because I do feel that sometimes if something is very sudden, we lost my dad within weeks of his diagnosis of leukemia, and so it didn't give us time to prepare. And so I've often seen colleagues or friends be able to have the hospice care as an arrangement, and so I do think that that's a nice thing, because you have a little bit more time to talk. And so I guess we're all grateful and blessed to be able to have services that would provide those opportunities for just, again, that helping with the closure on that. So thank you for sharing.
One other person that is on the team is also a volunteer. We have a team of volunteers. There's a more intensive training for volunteering for hospice, but the hospice volunteer can do a number of things. Sometimes it's direct patient care, not patient care, but basically sitting with the patient and just listening. We have a lot of seamstresses that create memory teddy bears. So they will take a shirt of the deceased person and make a teddy bear out of it and give it to the family. So there are lots of really cool things to do. Massage therapists. We have volunteers that are massage therapists, music therapists, pet therapy. So, I mean, we have volunteers that do all those things. So if it is a true calling, probably a volunteer opportunity for hospice, but if you're interested in that, you're welcome to go on the website, VNA Texas. .org. I've only worked there for 100 years. So go on the website, and there's a button that says volunteer now, and it'll give you the different opportunities for volunteering.
Katherine's talking about all these different volunteer opportunities in hospice, and I have to tell you, we have 7 volunteer coordinators, which I think, probably every nonprofit out there would be jealous to know. But we have 7 because we had 238,000 volunteer hours last year, which we think is probably in the top 3 organizations in North Texas. We provide care. Katherine's going to probably be able to tell you how many counties, but is it
13?
13 counties. So it's not just Dallas. We extend all the way Denton, Kaufman, Rockwell, Tarrant. Oh my gosh,
Frisco.
Frisco, yeah, Collin, yes. So I can't list them all, but they're all on the website. And so we love to have people. If you want to engage with other people, I loved how you had said people helping people. Mm-hmm. And if you are somebody who wants to do that, we have a way to plug you into it.
I think that's exciting. I think sometimes I get asked the question, how do you know what you like? Or how do you pick a place? And I always tell people to think about the things that you enjoy doing. If you enjoy running, then you may want to do it for youth, and Girls on the Run is a great place to do that. I mean, so it just depends. You take your passion and you put it into that volunteer work just as you would your job. And so I just always encourage individuals to think about their gifts and what they like doing, because 9 times out of 10, like you said, if you're a seamstress and you can sew for someone, what a beautiful thing to be able to sew onto a teddy bear for someone that you loved or you cared about, or sewing quilts. I've seen a lot of quilts.
Memory quilts.
Yeah, memory quilts get left, and I just think that that's such a beautiful thing. So, again, I just think about your passion, think about your gift, think about what makes you happy, like your happy place, and then that's where you know where to go to help find the right volunteer opportunity for you. And it sounds like VNA Texas has a huge need for volunteers, but also a very diversified areas of places to volunteer, depending upon what your interest is, what do you like to do, whether or not you have children or not children. So I want to talk a little bit about social media marketing, and this has been really huge for the nonprofit sector. In an age 20 years ago where none of us in the nonprofit sector were thinking about social media, now we have to think about it all the time. And how has that impacted your brand at VNA Texas?
So I'd say we have a renewed focus, or a new focus maybe even on social media. You say we have to think of social media. I can't stop thinking about it because I think you love to express yourself through the radio. I think that social media lets us talk to people all the time. And we can talk to our volunteers, we can talk to potential clients, whether that's through Meals on Wheels or patients for hospice. We can tell our story, and we can engage with people that way. So it's become a big focus for us, specifically on Facebook. And actually just this past month in July, we added 1,000 new fans. We'd love every one of your listeners to be one of them. And our name is just VNA Texas, both for Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And we're not yet on Pinterest. So we're just trying to build our base that way. And I think that people will find it. It's engaging material. It's uplifting. It's the great stories of, we've got a post coming up soon of a 96-year-old guy who's still delivering Meals on Wheels. I think half of the people he delivers to are younger than him, right?
That's exciting.
Yeah. So you got to make sure you friend us.
Ned Starsole. He's called the Music Man because he is a musician as well. So he is amazing.
That's exciting. And I follow you both on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you.
I do.
And so that's really what our presence on social media has been about. Our website's also, we're adding some other robust features to it, but a lot of good information on resources that are available for aging, as well as events coming up, not just fundraisers, but also, ways to get involved, volunteering, and other kinds of activities. We have a young professionals group. You want to talk about that, Katherine?
Yeah, that's Society 34, right?
Sure.
We'd love to hear about it.
As I mentioned earlier, we like to engage different groups of the community because it's really the legacy that they'll carry on, and that's the real goal. The Society 34, and we started in 1934. That's where we got the name, but it's for 24 to 44-year-olds, and we have really cool events like at Uchi, and you come in and enjoy yourself and meet other people. But it's really like minds and hearts that want to do something for the community and is in that age group. So that's what we're doing is getting those folks together, sharing our mission, but then giving them opportunities to volunteer and make an impact on the community. But it's a really fun event. A lot of cool people.
That's great. That's exciting. It's interesting to see the number of young professionals that are really engaged in nonprofit work and nonprofit volunteerism, and I think that is huge. Again, very different from what it looked like 20 years ago.
Well, the millennials are getting a bad rap, right? I mean, they are stepping up to these young professional groups so that they can network, so they can serve. And I love that the nonprofits are reaching out and creating a space for that for them.
Yeah.
Because, as Katherine said, they are our next leaders, and we want them to understand the important role that the social services play in our community, because, like our clients, nobody would see them. They're stuck in their home.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about homelessness in Dallas because we see them downtown.
Right.
But if we didn't, would we be talking about it? Probably not.
And we also have a teen board. And past that level, we have a teen board, and right now we have 70 applicants to join that teen board, and it's from all over Dallas County in terms of the schools.
That's exciting. And what is your vision for the teen board as you guys move forward?
As Cara mentioned, leaders of tomorrow, and your son is going to remember. He's not old enough for teen board yet, but your son's going to remember that experience forever growing up, and so when you get to the teen board level, They do deliver meals, but they also do service projects, and it is really providing a learning opportunity for community service. And as you probably know, many of the high schools have a community service requirement now. And so if you're a high school and you're listening and you're involved in administration and you're not involved with V&A, there are opportunities to connect in with us. We have high schools that do delivery routes as well and come in and do that. And many of our team board members sort of have come from that, but that's an independent thing that happens on the weekends.
They do take on quite a bit of leadership. So, we teach some of those leadership skills, but they plan the events themselves. They run them, they conduct them. So they've got some really good experience doing things that a lot of adults can't even do. And, of course, it's always great in those college applications.
It is. We've had a couple of college students that have come to DFB to do some volunteer work, but then also, as a result of that, they are also going to then need that reference that they did community service work, why they did it, what they got out of it. And obviously, we also participate with Young Men's Service League, and we have for the last 5 years, and I'm sure you all as well.
We do.
And so, again, just good opportunities. I enjoy having the young people and then the young professionals around, because I do think it just gives that life, to what you're doing. And you kind of think of, you have to pass the torch at some point. And in order to pass the torch, they've got to see that it's important. And they have to have the buy-in that nonprofit work is important.
Yep.
And it's needed, and these are the things that we can do. But it's also got to be something exciting so that people can get involved in and get engaged in. So I think I'm very excited that to see so many young people getting involved and asking questions about our nonprofits or wanting to learn a little bit more, wanting to shadow you and things like that. And I just know that where we are now, 10 years, I'm still going to have families that need furniture. You know, I would love not to. I would love to see that we wouldn't have homelessness, but it's going to happen. And so you know that as you walk away from certain projects, that you've got to have people taking the step in. And so this is really exciting just to see so many young people getting involved.
We have 6 summer interns. 2 of them are from the Dallas Mayor's program, and this is their last week. We just had a luncheon yesterday with, I guess, the other 500 nonprofits that have the students. And so one of the fun things we did yesterday is I had the intern edit one of our documents, and we did it as a contest. You edit, I'll edit. Let's see who does a better job.
Okay.
Of course, I was the judge, so it was kind of not fair. But it's amazing the skills they have and the fun things they bring up. You know, I definitely ask them, you know, give me some ideas on social media. What do you think about this? And, you know, try to stay cool, but clearly it's not happening.
I think they're very engaging, and they do like to share their ideas, but they're fast. They're fast-paced. They like things moving very quickly. But definitely I think it generates that synergy, you know, for what you're doing.
Well, and I think technology will continue to play such a key role as we manage people in their homes to help them stay in their homes, from anything from an app that's on your phone in terms of your routing, which we're working on now and having teenagers and young adults beta test it, to actually having technology in the home for our older folks to then help manage their health. I think in the next 10 years, we're going to find an explosion of technology that helps us in our society and people that are in their homes.
I would agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Talk about a couple of the bereavement groups that are available to the community.
So one of the cool ones that we have coming up is actually in Denton, and they're going to be talking about Safe Haven, which is targeted. It's a multi-week course. I'm sorry, actually it's a couple months, targeted towards children who have had a loss, and it can be a very lonely time. So it's facilitated by a chaplain. There's a set curriculum. We're actually expanding it into Dallas right now as a test. But it's a really, I think, touching program. All throughout the different counties we serve, we have regular bereavement events, whether that's a luncheon that has a particular theme and topic to talk about. But what happens is that people come together because they understand. They understand what it means to live a different life, because that one other person you lived in your home is now absent.
And you don't have to be on VNA Hospice to come to a bereavement event.
Everyone's welcome. Everyone's
and those
welcome.
are listed on our website as well.
Oh, that's exciting.
And
That's
our
good.
Facebook, see?
You gotta use Facebook. So give us a little insight on what's next for 2017 for VNA Texas.
So we have some major initiatives going on. We have a campaign to fundraise $17 million to take care of the wait list for Meals on Wheels, of which we've raised about $6 million so far.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and a lot of hard work from some of our volunteers raising that money as well. And so it's sad to think that, I mean, the good thing is we're feeding hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, but there are 10,000 people turning 65 every day in this community, or in this world, USA, for the next 15 years. So North Texas is no exception in terms of the growth rate. So that wait list is just increasing, and people have been very generous in this community, and so that we hope to complete that campaign in the next couple years. We've expanded our kitchen to allow for greater capacity, so we are prepared to do that. We just would appreciate donations that would go for that campaign specifically. In the hospice end of things, there is a program that we're piloting for the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is really the organization, the government agency that created hospice and paid for hospice years ago. So the concept is some people want to continue curative treatment while they're receiving hospice-like support in the home with the team that comes in. And so we're part of a pilot that begins in almost a little over a year and a half from now. We're ramping up to do that, but it basically is called palliative care, and that's what we'll be doing as well. So those are two expansion areas that are keeping us busy.
Wow. Well, you definitely are staying busy as you're continuing to serve 5,000 meals a day, a little above that, and so that's really exciting. You talked about donations financially. The food that you are preparing, is it all freshly prepared, or do you run drives?
It is. That's a great question, because what people need to know is that every morning we prepare that meal fresh every day in the morning, and it's like having a dinner party for 5,000 every morning. They're there at 5 to 6 in the morning, the kitchen staff, and they are then preparing that many meals to go out by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning to be shipped out to the drop site. So how that menu's prepared, just like imagine at home, you're trying to get the right nutrition in your family, you know, the right amount of protein, the right amount of vegetables, and so computer programs have worked out the menus specifically for senior adults. So it's a highly nutritious meal for senior adults, and then you have to make it attractive and tasty. And so that on top, and plus you have to make sure that you keep it hot.
Yes.
And for food safety reasons, it's all those things. Back to the complicated piece. So all that happens at our kitchen in the morning. We have the menus prepared months in advance because you have to order a lot of food to produce that much every day and create the variety. And we're always asking our clients, what do they want different or more besides, and of course, of steak and then a lot more hamburgers. But we're not gonna
cookies. I heard they want cookies.
Cookies. Yeah,
I was
and a
gonna
lot
ask.
of our folks are diabetic, so we have to go with the sugar-free.
We do have a dietitian who plans out all the menus. So when I came, I wanted to see the kitchen operation. I mean, that's so cool to
exciting.
me. But when you start seeing them peel potatoes for 5,000 people, it's mind-blowing. And we do offer regular events for people to come see the kitchen. We usually provide a free breakfast. So again, website and Facebook, we're always posting that on there. And we'd love to show people what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Well, great. Talk a little bit, I know we talked about the preparation of the meals and all that. Is that done by staff or is that done by volunteers?
The meals are prepared by staff,
Okay.
and the reason that is because we are surveyed and visited by state, city, federal. You know, it is just the food safety issue. It's a big responsibility, and I'm not saying we couldn't train volunteers because a lot of people, we have chefs that we work with to provide input, but in terms of fixing those meals and making sure they're food service certified, and it's really, really for staff.
It's a high volume operation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable to watch.
Well, like I said, I was impressed when we came and did our tour and did the meals, and again, just really wowed by everything that you're able to do in the short amount of time. You got an 8-hour work day, and you have a lot of meals to get out there to the community, and I'm just so impressed.
Aaliyah, you were asking about donations for food. So we don't do the food drive. That's the food bank. But we do look for other kinds of donations. So earlier in the segment, Katherine was talking about the heat and the air conditioning. And so we had a fan drive. And so we're providing box fans for any of our clients that are in the heat. And a lot of times our volunteers will tell us that. And so we'll send that out with our meals. But there's all sorts of other things that we would love to have that would help us in our operation. And, I'm going to say the website and Facebook again, but we also have an Amazon account, a wish list, and those are great things. So in the fall, we're going to put together all sorts of blankets for people, whether it's a lap blanket for their wheelchair or it's something to add to their bed. So there's lots and lots of things that we're always looking for, and we have them all listed out for people.
That's exciting. Katherine, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners?
If there's anyone listening that actually does deliver already and also donate to Meals on Wheels or hospice, we could not do what we do without the participation of the community. We wouldn't exist without donor dollars and volunteer support. Going back to what I earlier said, people serving people. VNA doesn't exist without the community. It's a beloved agency. I'm a caretaker as a CEO for a period of time. We've had, I think, 6 CEOs since 1934, and they are caretakers of the community that serves the community. So I just want to thank the community at large for those that have supported Meals on Wheels, hospice, and private care over the life of the VNA.
That's exciting. So we have been talking to Katherine Krause, the CEO of VNA Texas, and Cara, I said Carol, I don't know why I said that, Cara Mendelsohn. She's the Director of Community Engagement at VNA Texas. I hope that everyone today really can take away a couple of different things. So VNA Texas is serving over 5,000 individual meals a day. They are fresh meals to our community that are homebound seniors. And, one of the things that is good about this community, and I know we kind of rally together when things are going wrong, but I also know that we rally together when just day-to-day things need to get done. And that's why the nonprofit community in North Texas is so strong. Part of which we care, and part of which we have so many collaborations. So I recommend, of course, that if you're interested, go to the website and check them out, VNATexas.org, and also follow them on Facebook and Twitter. If they are always in need of box fans, blankets, they've got all kinds of different things that you can do to help serve their clients as they are continuing to promote aging with dignity, hospice care, and Meals on Wheels. I thank you all for listening. I appreciate each of you and for your support of our nonprofit organizations in the North Texas area. We've been on, this is our 12th segment, and it's just truly been a great ride to just be able to talk to my colleagues, but then also highlight our nonprofits in North Texas, because as you all know, that's a passion for me, and truly giving back is important. Have a good day, and we'll see you next week. Have a good day, and we'll see you next week. Have a good day, and we'll see you next week. Have a good day, and we'll see you next week. Have a good day, and we'll see you next week. Have a good day, and we'll see you next week.